So Nikki Haley puts her foot in her mouth again, this time during an interview, I believe, with PBS. And it was about what happened in 2015 when she took down the Confederate battle flag. But we'll get to that here in a moment. Welcome back to the channel, Culture Confederacy here. It's Wednesday night. So happy Wednesday, everybody. Thank you for watching, subscribing, being a part of this thing called the Culture Confederacy. Now, I chose this particular graphic for a reason. And that is because, as someone who writes music in his spare time, I don't want people preventing me from writing my music, taking away the CDs I like, whatever radio station I like to listen to, whatever books I like to read. So I'll go through this with you real quickly here. That CD in the middle, that's Johann Wilhelm Wilms, got that CD in the mail yesterday. Really good CD. We have some Tchaikovsky, Symphonies 1 through 3, Francesca del Rimini, Igor Markovich, London Symphony Orchestra. One of the best performances of Francesca del Rimini. So you thought a guy with a Confederate battle flag couldn't say that. Didn't know who Tchaikovsky was, right? Then we have some Cal Jader. As you see here, we have Henry Renee. Also got that in the mail. Bob James, Heads, Stan Kenton, Cuban Fire. Great album, Cuban Fire. Get a copy of it. Great album. You'll love it. Little Carl Loeb, Boner. And I have to admit, folks, I'm a sucker. You see that CD in the back with a fish on it? I saw that and I said, I got to have that CD. It's a really good CD. It's music by Rossetti. It's called Bohemian Mutineer. You might be able to find a copy of that. C.P.E. Bach. Now imagine somebody taking all this away. So you can't listen to any of these CDs. We never know that there was a guy named Rossetti or an organist named Lubeck who was just as good as Bach. We never know people like Carl Lowe or Wilms. Never knew that Stan Kenton came up with an album called Cuban Fire. So when people like Nikki Haley start taking down flags and statues so they don't offend people, you need to take a step back and say, wait a minute, is this Nazi Germany? Seriously, are we living in Nazi Germany? Because that's what Hitler did, that's what Stalin did, that's what Mao did, that's what Castro did. They took down all these statues, anything they found offensive, anything they thought was offensive in their society, to purge and cleanse their society of the undesirables. Now, say what you will about the South in 1860, but in no way, shape, or form was the South in 1860 Nazi Germany. And to prove a point about that, one of the reasons they chose the design of the Confederate battle flag, and I've mentioned this before, is because they got complaints from Jewish soldiers in the Confederate Army who were offended by the original design. So they went back, redid the design, and they chose the colors, get this, they chose the colors red and blue because they represented valor, they represented truth, Republican values. That's what they call it in the South. They call it Republican values. You see, our view of Republicanism today is a little bit different than what it was back in the 19th century, because in the 19th century, Republicans were actually the progressives of the time period. In the back here, you've got part of the score of the piece of music I'm working on, my symphony, my corncob pipes, little sail pipe tobacco, my shortwave radio. But imagine all this being taken away. Then we couldn't debate about things like the Confederate battle flag or about a particular CD. So I thought I'd come here and talk about this, and for Nikki Haley to be so wishy-washy, whether it's a Civil War, whether it's talking about secession, taking down the Confederate battle flag, probably in 2015, when it wasn't the Confederate battle flag that did this. By the way, that wasn't the first flag used by the Confederacy, by the South, in the early days of the Civil War. It was the Bonnie Blue. Now, the reason they chose that flag as the first flag is because it goes back to 1810 with the Republic of West Florida, when you had settlers who were declaring their independence from Spanish rule. See, people don't know this because they don't dig through the history of it. They just assume that the Confederate battle flag was, they think that the KKK, the CSA, the Confederate battle flag, there we go, Confederate battle flag. Can I talk tonight? The Confederate battle flag, go out and flog some people. I'm just, no, YouTube, I'm just kidding. We do not promote violence or white supremacy on this channel. Disclaimer. Put that in bold caps on one of my headlines here. or one of the thumbnails. But, to say that a flag can't do anything, it is a flag. Now, you can agree with the symbol, you can disagree with the symbol, whatever it is, whatever the monument is or statue is. But a lot of these statues were actually put up not during the Civil War, not during this secession crisis, but they were put up during a time period known as the statue race. Was it after the Civil War, like around 1868, about 1910, 1915, you had what was called the statue race. So they were competing to make statues in Europe, but people who were making, or sculptors who were making statues here in the United States. Because remember, we were a new republic at the time. We were maybe just under 100 years old or so, maybe a little over 100 years old. So we had to compete with Europe, with the rest of the world, show our stuff. I think we've done that in 200 and some odd years, don't you? So I thought I'd just come here to talk about what Nikki Haley said during this interview. There's an article about it at USA Today. I tried to pull that up, but our Wi-Fi is not working here today. So I figured, what the hell, I'll just come up with my own graphic tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. Just give you a peek into, my album collection I have here, piece of music I'm working on, so I'm not full of hot air here. Because I always tell you, I write music in my spare time. Well, this is something I'm working on. So let me know what you're working on in the comment section below. Let me know if you've seen that interview with Nikki Haley. Are you going to vote for Nikki Haley? I don't know. It's going to be an interesting year. I think it's going to be an interesting year. So, like I said, just a one-take video. It is what it is. No particular format tonight. Just tell you what I think. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, you know what to do. You can follow me at Instagram, #JasonComposes, because I write music in my spare time, as you can see here. Or you can go to X, Culture Confederacy, at CultureConfed1 on X. And I would highly encourage you to go out and check out these CDs. See if you like them. See if you don't like them. And if you're going to do these CDs, get them used. Like new condition or in very good condition. You can find some good sellers like on Amazon like I did. Saving quite a bit of money by doing that. And a lot of these are albums that I had when I was growing up, but lost track of them or lost them in the process of moving. So again, thank you for being with me. Culture Confederacy, saying peace out. Catch you next time. God bless. And I'll do another video later this week. Take care, everybody.